Poorest towns in the UK. Greenock, Inverclyde. It's now time to talk about the ugly sides of towns and cities in the UK that many of the adherents of such towns don't want to hear. No matter how positively we try to look at the town of Greenock, Inverclyde, we would always find that it is one of the poorest towns in the United Kingdom. If you are objective enough, you won't be shocked at this. After all, this is not the first time the town will be ranked this way. You likely have seen it listed among the poorest towns in Scotland. However, is this town poor? If it is, why is it poor? What effect has that had on aspects of life in this town? Greenock in brief. Before we go into all that, please let's tell you a bit more about Greenock. It's a town in the Inverclyde area. Greenock was home to Greenock Dockyard Company, a shipbuilding firm, the demolished Easter Greenock Castle, Greenock Morton FC, a Scottish football team, and Greenock Telegraph, an Inverclyde local newspaper. It used to be a former constituency of the British House of Commons of Greenock and Port Glasgow, a former constituency of the UK House of Commons, and Greenock and Inverclyde, a former constituency of the Scottish Parliament. Today, it is an administrative centre in the Inverclyde Council area, though a former burgh within the Renfrewshire Historic County. It's a Scottish town located in the west central lowlands. Is Greenock really poor? Do we really have any justification for describing Greenock as one of the poorest towns in the UK? Let's look at what stakeholders say about this. We'll consider statistics and the living cost. The unemployment rate of the 1970s and 1980s as a result of the decline in industries hasn't really abated. It continued into the dawn of the millennium, such that even 2 decades into the 21st century, the town still needs to grapple with a serious lack of jobs. As of October 2012, the unemployment rate in Greenock was 5.3%. That was above the Scottish average of 3.9%. Of course, this figure was for the Scottish Parliament constituency, which includes Gourock, Inverkip, Port Glasgow and Wemyss Bay. Yet Greenock's figure was even worse if taken in isolation. 10 years later, things have only started improving. Index of multiple deprivation. In reviewing matters of poverty and affluence in the UK, the index of multiple deprivation data is crucially relevant. In this regard, the Scottish Index of Multiple Deprivation, the SIMD, is informative. In several SIMDs, this town appears to be seriously lagging. For example, in the latest of this study, Greenock Centre was named the poverty black spot. According to the report, the Inverclyde area, which is mainly Greenock, has the largest share of deprived areas. This is especially apparent in the domains of income and health, according to the study of these. Even on other indicators such as crime, unemployment, quality of life, and how long people in Greenock need to travel to get to a GP, things aren't bright for the town. BBB Scotland's social affairs correspondent Chris Clement remarked that there were few surprises in that SIMD update regarding its ranking of Inverclyde, as Greenock fell from 23 in the last rank to the most deprived town centre in Scotland. He had earlier noticed a high number of hard drug-related hospital admissions. Ranking second worst in health outcomes isn't unexpected. By the way, the town has also been scoring low repeatedly on educational outcomes. Comparing the economic situation of the town in 2016 to what was in 2020, Jim Clougherty, the deputy leader of the Inverclyde Council, said that they have discovered that more investment was needed in Greenock communities. While analysing the available figures, he said, "These figures are a bitter pill to swallow and show that investment can't come soon enough. No part of Scotland wants to be labelled as the most deprived." Residents' grievances. If you're trying to prove that a place is poor, you must consider the residents' feelings because of their first-hand experience of how things pan out there. Now, what are the Greenockians saying about Greenock? Hear one of them, please. "The area's litter problem is a testament to the lack of awareness among fellow residents of the surroundings that we all have." This resident complained about the gangs operating in the town, adding that these seek out anyone to, at the least, verbally abuse and intimidate. That's not all about these grievances. Many of them went on to describe the supposed graffiti problem bedeviling the town. Can you see any connection between this and poverty? It shouldn't be hard, we suppose. This comment is by no means exceptional. It's rather representative of what many residents and visitors feel about this town. Why is Greenock so poor? At this point, we have established the fact that Greenock is poor. This may not go down well, we understand, with those who love the town and are determined to find something good in it. Truly speaking, we too have found something good in the town. Please see our video about towns in Scotland that features Greenock. There we mentioned good things about Greenock and even added that we especially love about it. We also love some good places in the town. Those who knew that Greenock was a decent industrial spot and still feel nostalgic about the promenades, beautiful flowers, the conversation and the lovely people would also find it hard to agree that this is now their town. It is not the town that thrived on shipbuilding, sugar refining and wool manufacturing for decades, employing most of its residents. However, Second World War was primarily responsible for the economic downwardness of Greenock. It was then a French naval base and this made it a target. It was heavily damaged by bombing during the war. The granite cross above the town, which serves as a memorial to the French sailors who were killed in the Battle of the Atlantic, is evidence of this. Consequent to the cessation of shipbuilding in the town in the 1980s, another plunge into poverty occurred even though ship repair did not completely stop. The cost of living. Living in Greenock is not too expensive. Yes, you can live with little, as the cost of living is close to the world's average at £1,033.39. A family of 4 may spend up to £2,787.59 a month. Out of a list of 9,294 towns globally, Greenock ranked 4,016th, 259th out of 277 in Britain, and 18th out of 21 in Scotland. Do you realise the implications of that? If you do not have to spend much to live in a town, you are not likely to make much money in the town. That is therefore further proof that the town is poor. Let's give you an idea of how much residents have to spend on items if they could afford them. Those living in an apartment of 85 square metre size will likely spend £150 monthly on utilities such as electricity, water, heating, cooling and garbage. If you add rent to that, an individual will spend only £587.13 monthly, while a family of 4 will spend £1,341.28. An individual is expected to spend an average of £279.79 on food, and it'll cost a family of 4 £730.04 to feed in a month. Greenockians on average spend £47.69 on transport individually, while a family of 4 has to spend £129.13 on the same. The reality, however, is that many of the residents in this town don't have access to and cannot afford other luxuries such as good internet, sports and leisure, fitness club membership, cinema, and so on. Efforts to restore the town. All we have said so far hasn't spelled doom for this town. It is not to insinuate that all hope is lost for Greenock. You know we are upbeat about the town. Efforts are being made by individuals and organisations to bring the town back to its glorious days in spite of all odds. More recently, for example, Greenock is benefiting immensely from electronics manufacture, and this is being seriously rivaled by call centre businesses, insurance, banking and finance, and shipping export. The town is also receiving governmental attention as its centre has been earmarked for a £3 million investment targeted at the redevelopment of its main shopping area at West Blackhall Street. This is expected to boost the town centre and encourage more visitors. An investment to develop a cruise visitor centre has also been secured. The effect of this is being felt at Underhue Cottage, a brilliant attraction that is actually a working small holding completely self-reliant. It is a private establishment that organises various activities such as training, courses and nature walks, among others. Please, let's hear from you. Do you agree completely that Greenock is one of the poorest towns in the UK? Thank you for watching this video. Please don't forget to subscribe, comment and turn on the notification bell. This is Learning Canteen.